Captain Jinwoo sat in his command chair aboard the human ship Perseverance, as warning lights flashed red across the bridge. His vessel had just dropped out of hyperspace into the Vega 7 system without proper clearance codes. The ship's hull was scarred from countless battles, its weapon systems still smoking from their last encounter with hostile aliens 3 days ago. "Sir, we're being hailed by the local defense fleet," reported Lieutenant Minji from the communications station. Her voice remained steady despite the dozen alien warships now surrounding them. Each enemy vessel was 3 times larger than their small human cruiser. The alien commander appeared on screen, his blue skin marked with ritual scars. "Human vessel, you have violated our territory. Surrender immediately or be destroyed." His multiple eyes glowed with anger as he spoke through the universal translator. Captain Jinwoo smiled coldly. "Tell them we're just passing through. We have wounded aboard and need medical supplies." He knew the aliens wouldn't believe them, but humans had learned that sometimes the direct approach worked best. The truth was simple. They were hunting the aliens who had destroyed Earth Colony 7. Engineer Hyunwoo called from the lower deck. "Captain, our jump drive is damaged. We need at least 6 hours to repair it." The young man's hands were already covered in grease as he worked frantically on the ship's systems. "Then we hold position for 6 hours, Jinwoo replied calmly. He had faced worse odds before. Humans always found a way to survive, even when the entire galaxy seemed to want them dead. The alien fleet began to close in, their energy weapons charging, with deadly blue light. What they didn't know was that this particular human ship had been modified with technology, salvaged from a dozen different worlds. The Perseverance looked damaged and weak, but appearances could be very deceiving when humans were involved. Commander Soo-young of the Alien Defense Fleet studied the human vessel through her tactical display. In her 40 years of military service, she had never encountered these strange bipedal creatures before. The humans had appeared in their galaxy only 5 years ago, but already they had a reputation for being unpredictable and extremely dangerous in combat. "Analysis complete, Commander," reported her science officer Vorthak. "The human ship appears damaged, but our sensors detect unusual energy readings from their weapon systems. Their technology seems to be a mix of different alien designs." This was typical human behavior, Soo-young thought. They took whatever they could find and somehow made it work together. It should have been impossible, yet these creatures seemed to ignore the basic laws of engineering compatibility. On the human ship, Medical Officer Sohee was treating 3 wounded crew members in the ship's small medical bay. The injuries were severe, but she had learned to work with whatever supplies were available. Humans were remarkably good at healing, both physically and mentally, from trauma that would destroy other species. "How long until they can fight again?" asked Jinwoo as he visited the medical bay. "Donghyun will be ready in an hour." The others need more time, Sohee replied while continuing her work. "But Captain, we shouldn't be looking for another fight. We're outnumbered 12-1. Jinwoo nodded but said nothing. He understood the odds better than anyone. However, he also understood something the aliens didn't. Humans fought differently when they were cornered. They became more creative, more desperate, and infinitely more dangerous. Meanwhile, Communications Officer Minji had been quietly scanning the alien fleet's communications. Her equipment, stolen from a pirate base 6 months ago, was slowly breaking. Their encryption. What she discovered made her blood run cold. "Captain," she called urgently, "you need to hear this. They're not just planning to destroy us. They're planning to capture our ship and study our technology. Then they want to track down other human settlements." The bridge fell silent. Every human crew member understood what this meant. If these aliens learned human locations, innocent colonies would be attacked. Children would die. That was something no human could allow to happen. The alien fleet maintained their encirclement as both sides prepared for what seemed inevitable. Commander Soo-young was confident in her tactical superiority, but something about the human ship troubled her. It remained perfectly still, showing no signs of panic or desperation that she expected from a trapped enemy. Inside the Perseverance, the human crew worked with quiet efficiency. This was what they did best: find solutions when no solutions should exist. Engineer Hyunwoo had discovered that their damaged jump drive could be rigged to create a massive electromagnetic pulse, but it would also destroy their own ship in the process. "It's a suicide run," he explained to Captain Jinwoo. "We could take out half their fleet, maybe more, but we won't survive it." "Keep working on alternatives," Jinwoo replied. He wasn't ready to sacrifice his crew yet, but the option remained on the table. Humans had learned that sometimes the only way to protect others was to make the ultimate sacrifice. Navigator Jae Hwan had been studying the system's asteroid field. "Captain, I have an idea. It's crazy, but it might work." His plan involved using the ship's tractor beam to pull several large asteroids into a collision course with the alien fleet. The timing would have to be perfect, and they would need to survive long enough to execute it. "Crazy plans are our specialty," Jinwoo said with a grin. "What do you need?" As the crew prepared their desperate gambit, Weapons Officer Sung-hoon was making his own modifications to their armament systems. Human weapons were different from alien technology. Where other species built for efficiency and predictability, humans built for maximum destructive potential, even if it meant their own equipment might explode in the process. The aliens were about to learn why the rest of the galaxy had started to fear human military tactics. It wasn't just their refusal to surrender or their ability to adapt alien technology. It was their willingness to try things that no sane species would ever attempt. "All stations report ready," announced Executive Officer Youngman. The tall man had been with Jinwoo for 3 years, fighting in dozens of battles across hostile space. He trusted his captain's judgment completely, even when that judgment seemed to defy all logic and reason. "Then let's show them why humans are considered dangerous," Jinwoo said as he gripped his command chair. "All hands prepare for combat operations." The first shot came from the alien flagship, a brilliant blue beam that should have destroyed the human vessel instantly. Instead, it struck the Perseverance's improvised shield system and scattered into harmless light. Engineer Hyunwoo's modifications had worked perfectly, turning their hull into a reflective surface that redirected energy weapons. "Return fire," ordered Captain Jinwoo calmly. What happened next defied everything Commander Soo-young thought she knew about space combat. Instead of firing conventional weapons, the human ship launched what appeared to be scrap metal and debris. The objects moved slowly, seemingly harmless, until they began to explode in complex patterns around the alien fleet. "It's a minefield," realized her tactical officer. They turned their garbage into weapons. This was purely human thinking. Other species would never consider using refuse as ammunition, but humans saw potential weapons in everything around them. Each piece of debris contained small explosive charges that created a web of destruction around the alien ships. Medical Officer Sohee had turned her medical bay into a combat support center, using medical equipment to boost the ship's sensor systems. "I'm detecting weak points in their hull armor," she reported, sending coordinates to weapons. Navigator Jae-won activated his asteroid plan at the perfect moment. 3 massive rocks, pulled by the ship's tractor beam, came hurtling toward the alien formation. The enemy ships had to break formation to avoid collision, disrupting their coordinated attack pattern. "Now we run," announced Jinwoo as the Perseverance suddenly accelerated toward the asteroid field. This was the most dangerous part of the plan, flying through a dense field of spinning rocks while being chased by enemy ships that were faster and more maneuverable. But humans had one advantage that no alien species possessed. They were absolutely insane when it came to taking risks. Pilot Tae-hyung flew their ship through gaps that should have been impossible to navigate, using gravitational slingshots around larger asteroids to gain speed, while his pursuers crashed into the rocks behind them. Communications Officer Minji intercepted enemy transmissions filled with confusion and panic. "They're calling for reinforcements," she reported. "But they're also asking their command if humans are actually a mythical species of warrior demons." The crew of the Perseverance couldn't help but laugh. After 5 years of fighting for survival in hostile space, they had apparently become legendary bogeymen that alien parents used to frighten their children. Word of the engagement spread quickly through the alien communication networks. A single human vessel had not only survived an encounter with 12 warships, but had actually destroyed 4 of them while escaping into hyperspace. Military analysts across 3 different star systems began updating their threat assessments for human forces. Commander Suyong filed her report with growing unease. "The humans displayed tactical creativity that borders on madness," she wrote. "Their willingness to use improvised weapons and take extreme risks makes them unpredictable opponents. I recommend avoiding direct confrontation with human vessels whenever possible." The Perseverance had jumped to a nearby neutral system for repairs. Captain Jinwoo knew they had bought themselves time, but the real victory was strategic. Every alien commander who heard about their escape would think twice before attacking human ships in the future. Engineer Hyunwoo worked around the clock to repair their battle damage. "We lost 40% of our hull plating, and our main weapons are offline," he reported. "But the jump drive is working perfectly now, better than it did before the damage actually." This was another human trait that amazed other species: their ability to make broken things work better than they had originally. Human engineers seemed to view manufacturer specifications as mere suggestions rather than absolute limits. The crew had discovered something important during the battle. The aliens weren't just randomly hostile. They were part of a larger empire that was systematically eliminating younger species before they could become threats. Humans had been marked for extinction, not because of anything they had done, but because of what they might become. "We're not just fighting for survival anymore," Jinwoo told his crew during their daily briefing. "We're fighting for the right of humanity to exist in this galaxy. Every battle we win makes it safer for human colonies and exploration ships." Medical Officer So-hee had been analyzing alien biology from tissue samples collected during the battle. "Their species is much older than ours," she explained. "They've been spacefaring for thousands of years, but they've become rigid in their thinking. They can't adapt to new situations the way humans can." This gave the crew hope. Age and experience meant nothing if you couldn't change your tactics when faced with unexpected challenges. Humans were the ultimate adaptation specialists, having evolved on a planet that regularly tried to kill them in creative ways. Navigator Jae-won had plotted a course toward human space, but it would take them through several more hostile systems. "We'll face more alien fleets," he warned. "Word about us is spreading, but so is our reputation. Some might try to avoid us, but others will want to prove themselves by destroying the famous human ship." 3 months after the engagement at Vega 7, the Perseverance finally reached human space. Their journey had become legendary, with stories of their battles spreading through both human and alien territories. They had fought 12 more engagements, each one adding to their fearsome reputation. The ship limped into Earth Naval Station Alpha with hull patches from 6 different alien technologies and weapon systems that no human engineer had ever seen before. Their crew had grown from 8 to 15, picking up stranded humans from destroyed colonies and abandoned outposts. Admiral Park greeted Captain Jinwoo personally. "Your unauthorized mission has caused quite a stir," he said with a slight smile. "Half the alien empires in this sector have filed formal complaints about human military tactics. They're calling us chaos bringers and void demons." "Is that a problem, sir?" Jinwoo asked. "On the contrary," the Admiral replied. "Fear is a useful diplomatic tool. 3 different alien governments have requested peace negotiations rather than risk military confrontation with humanity. Your little adventure may have prevented a much larger war." Engineer Hyunwoo had submitted detailed reports about all the alien technology they had encountered. Human research teams were already working to understand and improve upon the designs. Within a year, every human ship would be equipped with enhanced shields and weapons based on their discoveries. Medical Officer So-hee's research into alien biology had provided crucial intelligence about their enemies' weaknesses. Human military doctrine was being rewritten to take advantage of this knowledge, turning biological differences into tactical advantages. The crew of the Perseverance was offered medals, promotions, and comfortable assignments on safe worlds. To no one's surprise, they all declined. There were still human colonies that needed protection, still alien threats to face, and still impossible odds to overcome. "We're explorers and fighters," explained Communications Officer Minji. "That's what humans do best. We go places we're not supposed to go and survive things that should kill us. As their ship underwent repairs and upgrades, the crew prepared for their next unauthorized mission. The galaxy was vast, filled with wonders and dangers that no human had ever encountered. There were alien empires to challenge, lost human settlements to find, and new technologies to discover. The title, A Dangerous Human Vessel, had become more than a warning. It was now a promise. Wherever humans traveled, they brought change, chaos, and hope. They proved that a small crew with limited resources could face overwhelming odds and emerge victorious through courage, creativity, and sheer stubborn determination. Captain. Jinwoo stood on his bridge looking out at the stars that held infinite possibilities. His ship bore the scars of countless battles. His crew had been forged in the fires of desperate combat, and their reputation preceded them wherever they went. They were exactly what the galaxy needed: dangerous humans who refused to accept defeat, and never stopped fighting for those who couldn't fight for themselves. The Perseverance would fly again, carrying hope into the darkness and proving that humanity belonged among the stars, authorization or not.